incarceration and
Anywhere
but backwards.
but backwards.
See, anywhere but backwards. And that came from Jeremiah chapter 7:24. I hope y'all read it. And it says, "Yet they did not obey and incline their ear to me, but they kept following the counsel of their own hearts." And it's not that deep if we think about it. God said, I can prove to, because we find out anywhere but backwards. Hey, I never even noticed that this was here.
Oh, I just put that up there. We just put that up there.
Oh, I was going to say, it says, you're not going that way. Hey, I seen that. I said, hold on, man. Wait.
Anywhere but back.
And you know, this is so awesome because I always say that God in his wisdom, if he wanted us to focus on going backward, he would have gave us a set of eyes.
Like there.
It's like, okay, you don't want me to worry about too much of that, huh? So you put it in front of us. Amen. So Abraham. And the reason why I say that is because to attain something means to come into the possession of something. But to maintain something, it means to keep it in existence. For example, most of us have been in more than one rehabilitation. If my family's getting on my tree, it's our so the problem is not in 2009, in August 2009, after 22 years of struggling with heroin and crack and criminal lifestyle, in August 2009, I obtained my sobriety. But the Lord never told me that I had to go in August 2010 to obtain it again. He says, from this point forward, you learn everything I need you to learn, maintain it. Everybody say, to attain my sobriety is easy. My challenge is to maintain it. That's just one minor adjustment that you got to make. Don't put all your effort on getting it now. You got it. It's yours. Now you need to find out what coping skills I need, what relapse prevention skills I need, who do I need to talk to, who I need to be around. All that. This August coming up will be my 13th. The easy part. The hard part is maintaining it. That's it. You the thing that I'm trying to get you to see. understand, everybody say information plus application equals destination. So we can have all the information. We can come here and give you all this information. If you never apply it, you won't reach the destination that I'm going to reach a destination. Because life goes on. But if you want to reach the true destination that God has ordained for our lives, we're going to have to listen to somebody who has already done it. I'm cool with listening to somebody that if I didn't know how to ride a dirt bike and this guy had been riding dirt bikes all his life, I'll be a fool not to listen to the guy who's been doing it all his life. He's saying, you're just going to jump on. Amen. Amen. So today we have last week we did an introduction. Today we're going to talk about my favorite topic to teach on, and that's purpose. Everybody say my purpose. My purpose. My purpose is greater. It's greater than my struggle. I'm gonna tell you how I got this. One day I was sleeping. I had a vision or a dream, and in this particular dream, it was God standing at the top of this mountain, and He had all this stuff. So He was standing up there and He had all this stuff, and He was like, Michael, this is all yours. You have inherited this because you accepted my son. So He says, come get it. So I started going to go get, if it's mine, let me go get my stuff. But something kept stopping me. And then that vision went away. The next day I had the exact same vision. God was at the mountain. Put your wife back. Here's the relationship with your kids back. Here's this. It's all yours. Come get it. So I start walking again to go get it. But this time I noticed that it was somebody in front of me and they had their hand on my chest. And they had like tattoos written all over their body. And when I looked intently what was written on their body, it says, this is your struggles. So I got very depressed. The number one reason I got depressed is because the struggles I was reading, I really did have. And the vision. The next day I woke up and the Lord gave me that same vision. And the person was still in front of me and was stopping me from going to get my stuff. But this particular time, the Lord told me, look behind me. Your struggles. So the people who was behind, but I was letting the struggle I had, the addiction, it wasn't until I realized I had that purpose. Everybody say my purpose is great. You can get one. If you want one, you can have it. Everybody say my purpose is greater than my struggle. So we're going to talk about purpose, which is my favorite topic because the only thing that keeps me motivated, and I got to let you know, I'm not saying you're not going to face difficulty. What's pushing you?
Amen.
There's a purpose in your past. In order for you to begin the process of allowing your past to So many people want their lives to have meaning. They want to do the right thing, but are often unsure. Do remember, you and I were created to do something extraordinary.
Through each group, we always have an expectation. My expectation for this particular lesson is everybody will get down to the core of why they do what they do. That apple, cut through the apple, you'll right? And then she would wonder, well, why would you go back out and put the heroin back in you when I just watched you? I do that. If I already went through what greatness. So from this point forward, you got to get to the core, because one of the main did it while I was doing drugs is because I was an insecure man. So when I realized when I was on drugs, I could talk to girls real good, or so I thought. When I was high, I said, I bet you I get this woman, right? But without the drugs, I wasn't that confident. Insecure about, right? So when I would talk to her, I would talk to her like this. How you doing? You know. This sober me. How you doing? How you doing? You cute, And one day she did this. Take your hand down. I said, I can't talk to you, let you see my messed up teeth. She said, you have a beautiful smile. I married her. Oh, God. I said, I ain't never gonna worry about it ever again. On things. Destroy you. So you got to get down to the core of you are putting something in me that will help him kill me. These are questions that are tough, but you got to ask them, because if you don't get down to the core, that's when you keep going. God is glory, man.
The word purpose means to set as an aim, intention, or goal for oneself. The reason for which something exists. So we like to ask this question. Who are you? Now if I ask you who you are, what's the first thing you tell me?
Name.
Your name.
What up?
What other things might you tell me? Where are you from? What else? If I say, who are you? What's some of the things you might tell me?
What do you do for a living?
Then come on.
What you do for a living, yeah.
You start telling you what mechanic. You start.
How do you know that?
Anything else you think of? You might, if somebody, right?
My age.
Your age, your name, what kind of job you have, where you're from. what you like. But none of that is who you are. If you think about it, it's not who you are. Did you ever think about that? And when we get out there and we start indulging in things that we like for fun or for whatever reason, and then people give us other names like crackhead, junkie, alkie. They give us, he ain't no good, dope fiend. They call you all kind of stuff. So, if when you were born and your mom gave you a name, and in your mind, that's who I am. I'm Robert. I'm George. So when you get out there and you're on drugs and someone calls you a crackhead, you automatically, the more you hear it, think that's who I am.
That's not who you are.
That's not who you are. You have to spend time with God, the person that created you, so you will know who you are. And I'm going to give you an example, and I use this example. And it's ironic, you had a stool here waiting for me. Someone designed this. It's a stool. So everybody know what the stool is made for? What's it made for? Sitting. So someone got tired of sitting on the floor. They wanted to sit up higher or whatever. They made a stool. They lined it up. They made the dimensions. They carved it out and they made this product. So since they designed it, they know that this is made for me to sit up higher. Right? However, you don't have a table. You might sit your drink on it or your plate. So now it's a little table, right? I stand on it. A ladder, right? Or if you're coming at me, because I'm the one that had the anger issues, and if you're coming at me and you're a little aggressive, I might pick this up and try to hit you over the head. So now it's a weapon. Now these are all the things that I didn't use this stool for, but the person that designed it still called it a stool. I was using it for other things except what it was created to do. That's what we do with our lives.
Amen.
That makes sense?
It's the exact same thing we
use
doing.
our lives and we use it in a manner of other things it wasn't created for, and we think that's who we are because we have used it. You come to my house and I got a flower on this, you better not touch it, don't move my flower. That's my flower stand. But if I ask the person that this is not a flower stand, no matter how many times I argue with them, they're going to tell me that's a stool. I know because I created it.
And that's how God see you.
And that's how God sees you.
He know how he created you and what he has put in you. I didn't create you for that.
I didn't create you for that.
Nation, right? Because he's letting you know, listen, don't beat yourself up, right? Because you can sit there and beat yourself up over all the things we do that we know is wrong. We all know what's right and wrong. But what God created us for is his intent. Like, I want you can maximize that. So where it says, who are you? One of the things I wrote is not right there. If y'all got a pen, y'all can write it down. Normally, other people tend to see your true potential. Normally, other people will see your true potential before you see it. And that's proof. You ever have a family member say, you can be doing this and you can be, why are you doing that? You can do this. Like my wife used to always say, I used to write her so many letters when I was away. She was like, you can write books. You might as well write a book. You write all these. Every time you go on, you write these letters. But what was the odds of that I'm a 10-time published author? And I used to write letters because normally somebody else sees your potential before you even see it. And you got to understand that when you have those, all of y'all going to think about something. Y'all can think about somebody that said something to you, like about your life. That it can be somebody who was related to you or a family member or somebody on that block where you used to hang out that was talking about something positive you can do with your life. We all can rehearse in our minds somebody telling us, you can really be, you're a really nice person, or you're a really nice young man or woman. So we all have those type of experiences, and that's not by coincidence. That's because normally other people see your true potential before you see it. It blows our mind all the time. Today I was talking to my the lady that hired me originally in August 2016. In 2016, she was at my job today, and she hugged me, and I just told her, I said, thank you for the opportunity for hiring me in 2016. And she said, yeah, you're welcome, Michael, but it was nothing but God. She even knows that the whole thing that happened in my life, she even gave credit. She was like, yeah, I hired you, but it was nothing but God. And that's all of us. Everybody won't forgive you. Everybody might not come back in your life, but there's going to be somebody that God touches, and they're going to give you the opportunity that he knows you need. Cherish it. When I finally got that next opportunity, I literally cried because I knew I'm not going to let you down. Opportunity that I needed. And that's all of us. We're going to all say, everybody say opportunity. Opportunity. And the next bullet says, what's your purpose? The company Apple, let me tell you about the company Apple. New iWatch. But before they put the image on the watch, they made sure that everything the watch needed to be successful was already in the watch. Apple came out with a new iPad. Before they put that image on the iPad, they made sure that everything that the iPad needed to be productive was already in it. They came out with a new iPhone. But before they put their image on the iPhone, they made sure that everything that iPhone needed to put his image on everything that you need. God put his image on you. He made sure that everything that you need to be productive was already in you. And before God put his image on you, he made sure that everything that you need to be successful was already in you. That's what God calls an inside job. Everybody say it's an inside job.
Inside job.
Before the company Apple put their image on there, they make all the technicians and the IT people to make sure everything is right. After it's done, they seal all those things in, and then they stamp it. They put their image on there. And they got that from the Bible says God made us in his image. Before he put his seal on you, he made sure everything you're going
about image, they think about appearance, right? And if we were created in God's image, so all of us look like God, but all of us do not look alike. So if you think about that, that's not the image that he means. He means the definition of image is what you're made up of, what you're composed of. So if he made us in his image, that means everything that's in him is in you.
and we all look different, so you got to think. Everything that we need is inside. We need to, remember, I'll go back to the apple and the core. Once you break through the core, you get to the seed. So you got to remember, everything you need, you just need to tap into. I was talking on Sunday, I believe, and I said that God gave us the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Our problem is not knowing we got the keys. It's our problem the keys. He says, Jesus said, I gave you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. So we just need to learn how to use the keys, which is already inside of us. Once we accepted the Son, everything is in us now. So we just need to learn how to use
what's in us.
What's in us.
Not what's in someone else.
Yeah, because we can have totally two different things going on.
Because even though this is an iWatch, this is Apple. It's not going to work. You have to use what's in you.
That's one of the lessons we're going to teach about when we talk about humility. I always say I'm humble enough to know that God gave me my gifts, my talents, and my anointing that He placed on my life. But I'm confident enough to know that can't nobody use what He gave me better than me. And that's the same confidence you have to have. Like, okay, He gave me this. So He gave him this. He gave her this. What He gave you, can't nobody actually use it better than you. Now, you can just not use it and then be upset at somebody else. That's when people get jealous. When really you have the same thing inside you. Amen? Amen. Aiming for anything of importance. Are you aiming for anything of importance?
And these are questions that you, in your own time, answer them. And then give yourself some time and go back and answer them again. Is that how your answers start changing?
Yeah, because all of them.
Same person, but you're at a different level. You watch how you grow, and your answers actually start changing.
So right there, I put I'm aiming to provoke you to change. And the reason why I say to provoke you to change is because we humans can't change you. You can change you, but God can provoke you to say, I want that. You know what I'm saying? You see somebody, you be like, yo, you don't want what they have, but that type of outcome, because I used to see people in my church all the time and say, man, I know he was, addicted to drugs, and I see all these years away. I said, man, I don't know how it happened, but I know I want it. I want that. So what happened was I was provoked to change. Their lies provoked me. God used them to allow us. That's why God will often, some of my friends who are still currently using, they always joke and say, man, you get on our nerves. I'd be like, why? They say, because we don't have no more excuses. Because one of the persons in the crew did it. So when they see somebody that was in their circle that did it, they're like, what's our excuse? We all do the same thing. So what's your excuse? Down that path. So are you aiming for anything of importance? That's something you got to write in there inside of your book on your own time and then revisit it later.
What's your intention? What's your intention? Think about why you're here. Here to keep you from going to jail? Are you here because your parents are getting on your nerves and you want to shut them up? You know how many times my husband went to rehab just to shut us up? Yeah,
I used to just go just because I was tired of hearing them.
So if your intentions, if you write there honestly and you answer these honestly, and you can honestly write down because of something else, and it's not because of you
change. You got to.
Chances are when you go out, you're not ready.
Because that's going to wear off. Because you can do it for my kids. No, all of those are great.
Yes.
But the transformation comes when you say, I'm prime example. I've been reaching out to a guy for months, weeks, trying to get him, hey man, I want you to go to this program. Why don't you go away? Nah, man, Mike, I ain't going away, man. I'm out here. I said, man, why don't you go away? Why don't you go away, right? I kept asking him, won't you go away? Won't you go away? One day I got to work. Came in like 10, 15 minutes early. I pulled up to my job. Guess who was at my job? That guy. He was out front and I said, man, what you doing here, man? He said, I want to go away. I'm ready. You see the difference? When I kept trying to get him to go, he didn't want to go. But when he said he wanted to go, he was at my job before me. And that man went away and he was cracking up. He kept saying, man, when was you going to stop asking me to go away? I said, when you went, the day you go. But you see how it has to be for you. He went not because his parents, not because I kept asking him. He met me at my job, 8:30 in the morning, and says, I'm ready to go away. That means he's doing it for him, nobody else. So you got to find out what's your intentions. Because I would literally go to church, cry out on the altar. Then I had to check and see, is she looking? Okay, she see me crying. But I was already locked on going home and using. My intentions was just to get back in the house. That's what my intentions was. So the reason why these questions are in here, again, I wrote this book with the mindset of me actually what I was thinking when I was using. So I wrote this book with that mindset. I wasn't using when I wrote it, but I wrote it like these are the questions I have. What was my intentions? My intentions was this. So you got to honestly answer those questions yourself.
Do you have a goal? And where do you have to go? And what do you have to do for your purpose to be reached?
Yeah. Do you have a goal? Miles Monroe said purpose is the master of motivation and it's the mother of your commitment. So if your purpose is the master of your motivation, that you figure out, everybody say, I have a purpose.
I have a purpose.
So that's your purpose, that's your motivation right there. And it's the mother of your commitment, knowing that my struggles can't stop me. My purpose is what's pushing me. So that's your commitment. All of those are tied together. You got to lock on your individualized purposes can only be discovered by spending time with God. Once I found out what my purpose was, it became like a smooth ride. Smooth ride, not saying that I would have struggles and stuff. I'm talking about knowing what I was supposed to do. I know what I know now. This is what I'm supposed to do. Like I don't have to keep guessing. Like I was created to do this. I was created to reach a certain population, go to do a certain thing. I don't have to try to go this way and that way. That's the same thing that with all of us. We have a particular, we might be in the same area. It will not shock me if God just turn around and use you to go to the same population. So that would not blow my mind at all, because I know that you can reach them quicker. You can reach them quicker, and one other thing, you won't look down on them. I'll be the last one to look at you and be like, I can't believe you getting high. like I wouldn't be able to actually get it out my mouth, like before my mouth gets stuck or something. Like, so that's a good benefit that you can have.
And do you know the power? So say someone that walked in here never used anything. They all louied up. They dressed, they suited, they booted, they looked apart, and they never had any type of struggle like you and I, you know. They knew mom and dad. They had all the money. They didn't smoke, they didn't drink, they don't cuss, blah, blah, blah. You know, they got the white picket fence and all of that. And then they walk in the room because they went to school. And I'm not against education, but they went to school and they studied up on things, and they're compassionate, right? So they really care and they really want to help. So just think them coming in and they're endearing and they're talking to you. They're like, no, you can do this and we're going to follow this model and that. But just think, bring them in. Now you walk in to the same room and everybody in this room knew that you was a hot mess. And you come in here and just talking, your whole appearance, everything has changed. And you said, you can make it. Just by your appearance, just by them hearing that from you and seeing the change, that is so much power.
And powerful though.
So much power. You know why? Because if I lost my mom and you still have your mom and I'm hurting over my mom and you can tell me, you know what, it's going to be okay. Yeah, you're being nice, but you really don't understand how I feel. But if you lost your mom, you know, and you can come to me and say, listen, you're going to get through this. I'll receive it more from you because I feel like you really understand me.
That's why peer, you want to have some, you know how they say the joy of your peers? That means somebody that can relate to you. Mm-hmm. And then on the opposite side, like my wife never used, right? But she would be talking to other people on the opposite side that I can't relate to. You get what I'm saying? Like they talking about how they was going through this with me, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm clueless, like what and this
How
is
that would feel.
how it would feel, or how I was feeling to her. I remember one time I thought my wife, when she said, "Now, mind you, I'm using the substances, I'm using it and everything, doing what I'm doing," and she said she became suicidal. She's not using, but the life I was living was so messed up that she remembered riding across the bridge when the enemy was telling her, "You should just drive off the bridge." That's how bad your life is. Kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I would never even understand, like, why would you think that? You're not even on the drugs. It was me. But that's the other side. That's the other side of our loved ones and how it affects them that we are clueless to. So you got to understand all of that, both sides, though. Where do you have to go, or what do you have to do for your purpose to be reached? I wrote in here, you can write it down. To reach your purpose, you must ask yourself 3 questions. The first one is, what's my present situation? To reach your purpose, you must ask yourself these 3 questions. What's my present situation? And the next one is, what's my desired destination? Somebody guess the third. What's my present situation? What's my desired destination?
Where you going? The final destination.
What you got to do to get there? So my present
Right here.
present situation is I'm in mission teens. That's cool. That's perfect. My desired destination is, I'm gonna use me. When I was in a program, my desired destination was to create a program, which you have in your hands, to go back into the places where I used to be to help build them up. But I did that when I was in program. My desired destination was, I'm going to create some type of curriculum or a program where I can come back into jails, rehabilitation centers, live the life that I want them to see, and have the curriculum to come back. So the steps in between was, I had to write the curriculum. I had to get a book published. I had to format what I wanted to do.
And you had to stay clean.
And I had to stay clean. The ultimate, because the desired destination, this one never came to fruition. So you got to reach that purpose, you got to have you have to mark it. What are you trying to do? No, now all of y'all might don't go and be a counselor or write a book. That's okay. But you have to have, what are you trying to do? Because when you find out what you're trying to do, now you know what you need to do in here. And the number one thing is you can't use. You can't go back to where you're trying to, where you came from. So what's my present situation? What's my desired destination? And the third one is what I got to do to get there. What I have to do. What do I have to do to get to my desired destination? What are the steps in between is the third one. What's my present situation? What's my desired destination? And what are the between steps? Let's see. No matter what anyone says to you or no matter how you look at it, the fact remains that you have a purpose for this world and you have a reason for living. Telling yourself that you have a purpose, even though your present situation may leave you feeling broken inside. However, this is a great place for you to begin. Start by encouraging yourself. Stop waiting on others. Tell yourself, everybody say, I have a purpose. Say, I have a purpose. 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 And I have a purpose. I have a purpose.
Even in here, you have a
You
purpose.
have to. Yes, you have a beautiful. This is such a. But every time I think about coming here and thinking about Mission Teens, and I remember when I was on my church, and I used to always see like a plaque of Mission Teens on my church wall at Glory Tabernacle Church, and I never knew about Mission Teens, but I always would wonder about Mission Teens. Y'all have a purpose here. Y'all are in the, like, right in the heart of, you could just leave and go do whatever you want, right? But you're able to stay here and get built up so you can be prepared. Use this time wisely. This is the development stage, I call it, the pupa stage. This is where you do all your development. This is it right here. And then you got to understand, you got to maximize the opportunity.
Let's look at it biblically, right? There's a scripture in the Bible in Psalms, and it says, you are fearfully and wonderfully created. And a lot of times, we do things in life, right? We beat ourselves up. Life beats us up. We do things that we don't like. People don't like what we did. We lose friends. Family is sick of us. They don't want us in the house. They don't trust us. I literally used to sleep with my keys and my wallet under the mattress. I'm like, if he gonna get it tonight, he gotta lift me up too. You know? So things have happened in our life where you don't feel like you're wonderful. You don't feel like you have a purpose. So we standing here telling you have a purpose, but you may not feel like it. You may not see that. So I want you to see something. Everybody in here believes that God does not make mistakes.
Yeah, sure.
Do you really believe that?
Yes.
All right. So God does not make mistakes, right? And you don't have a purpose. Why is it that a God that can make anything did not make another you?
Only you.
You are the only you in the whole universe. There's people that may look like you. There's people that may sound like you. They may even mannerisms like you. Because we get that from the whole family might do a certain thing. But it's only one you. Your DNA doesn't match anybody else. Your fingerprint doesn't match anybody else. It's only one you. And he can't make mistakes. So there's a reason for that. He said you are fearfully and wonderfully created. When I was young and I felt different, you know, I was loved, but I may not have felt it. My mom gave me a card one year, and on there, it says you are fearfully and wonderfully created. And that stuck with me. I was like 12, 13 years old. She gave me that card. And to this day, that's me. I'm fearfully. So it took me late in my 30s where I stopped trying to be like everybody else. I didn't care how you wear your hair. I didn't care what clothes you wear. I didn't care what the latest style was. I love being just me to the point where it would bother me if I saw someone go do what I did. If they wore what I wore, it would bother me because I'm just learning me. And that's what we want you to see, that you are perfect. You are perfect. You are not what you like.
Amen.
You like smoking cigarettes, you're not a cigarette. You like drinking, you're not liquor. You are not what you like.
That's what you do.
That's what you do. That's what you like. That's not who you are. I love the color green. It's my favorite color. But if I was to walk in here, am I green? Definitely I'm not green. So I want you to understand that you are, everybody say, I am fearfully and wonderfully created.
I am fearfully and wonderfully created.
Say it like you mean it. Come on now.
I am fearfully and wonderfully created.
There you go. There you go.
That's Psalms 120. Thought for the day. Success isn't always going to be a huge contract. You can be successful if you just live out your purpose in life. Allen Houston, New York Knicks.
Somebody knew that.
Yeah, he said success isn't always going to be a huge contract. Everybody wanted him to just take all this money. He was like, that don't mean I'm successful.
Yeah, your level of success
Is.
and my level of success is definitely not the same thing. And I'm going to give you a good example. All I ever wanted was for him to stop using drugs. To me, we would have been fine if he would have stopped using drugs. Then I said him.
Yeah,
I wasn't even thinking about my own issues.
Yeah.
Just it was all him. Right? To me, because what your level of success in your head is totally different with somebody else's.
Yeah, that's true.
I never in a million years thought I would be married to an author or someone that makes a program, and now we're going into facilities and talking to people. And I actually enjoy working alongside my husband. But my level of success and my way of thinking at that time was just get clean.
Everybody has different levels. That's why you can't. The Bible says don't compare one to another. Because when God's saying don't compare, because if you compare, you'll actually feel like you're not successful because
Yes.
you're comparing yourself to another. And he said, and literally says, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yes,
Don't compare one to another because your levels of success is different. This ain't in your paper. It says most people don't live out their purpose because of pressure, but pressure produces what's in it. If you can, I learned that from pipes. One day a pipe bust. I said, man, the pipe bust. And I said, and then the Holy Spirit was like, you notice that when the pipe busts, the only thing that comes out of it is what was in the pipe. It's not like it busts in something that is shocking, like, where'd that come from? Like, it only came whatever was in it that caused it to bust came out. So that's just like when we faced with a lot of pressure, what comes out of us was actually in there. So we sitting there like, oh, that slipped out, but it was in there. So when we face with pressure, that's why we got to do the work, allow God to do the work on the inside. Because somebody say, oh, anybody will respond like that. I said, not if it's not in there.
And if you don't have pressure, how would you know if it's in there?
Yeah. So when you face with all these pressure and you get these difficulties, and then we go back to our comfort zone. We face with pressure. I came home from rehab. I didn't have a job. I was working, and I told you I was working at my church for 2.5 months, no pay, no nothing, right? I could have allowed all that, like, man, I don't got no income, and go right back to my comfort zone. But those type of situations, those difficulties that you will face, because I can't tell you, when you leave here, everybody just gonna roll out this red carpet and be like, here you go. No, I'm not even gonna lie to you. It might be some precious moments, but it's only gonna produce what's in you. You'll know if you got enough when that time comes, because ultimately those pressure moments is trying moments. That's to let you know. I remember facing a very difficult time, and that's when I knew I was never going to go back, because I had faced this situation, and normally I would just go get high and do whatever I usually do after that situation. But instead, I did the opposite. That's when I said, I got it. Soon as I didn't go use after that situation happened, I said to myself, I got it. Because if I ain't used at that time right there, I said, I got it. That's when I knew that I was on the path that God had me on when I was faced with a pressure situation. But you got to remember, the only thing that comes out those pipes is what's in there. So you got to feed.
And that goes back to the other question when they ask you, what are your intentions? Because sometimes you write down, you're like, I want to get my husband back. That's our intention, so that's why we're here. But you can't even do it for that, because the situation he's talking about, and we're quite honest, but the situation he's talking about that was hurtful to him was because of me. Because usually he will go away to rehabs, and then 20 days, 21 days, he want to come back to the house and then boss me around because he clean, right? he want to take over everything, and that would be the norm. But this time he came home, he just wanted to come for the weekend. I wasn't having it. And he came to the house and in the gun range with somebody else. And he's like, whoa, it's a whole totally different person there. He's like, who's this dude?
Yeah.
So, but he was already on the path that no matter what she does, I'm staying clean.
That's right.
You have to be selfish. So if you do it for your kids, if you do it for your mom, if you do it for your sister, if you do it for someone that you say you love, if you do it for anything other than just you, when they hurt your feelings or they make you mad, because we're all human, we're all filled with flaws, you may revert back to your old ways. So your intentions have to be straight all about you.
What's in you? Once you lock and load on mine was purpose. At that particular time in my life, I was about 30, 40 days clean. But at the program I was at, I used to have like a Bible devotion. I had like 5 men I wasn't smarter than them. I was studying God before them. And I enjoyed having these meetings with them. And I was, when the situation happened and I was on my path, the first thing came to my mind was those guys. I said, if I use now, and I have these guys that come every morning, we read the Bible together, what will be happen to those guys? So instead of using, I went back. They was like, you came back off of your pass 2 days, a day and a half early off of your weekend pass. I said, yeah, I had to come back. I was running into some difficulties out the side. They was like, nobody does that. They come back off the pass early. But I had other people in mind. Anybody say I have a purpose?
I have a purpose.
Once you lock on that, you discover what that purpose is. Just focus on that and just keep walking it out. You're going to have difficulties. The next page, there's a purpose in your past. Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it. But there's one thing I always do, forgetting what I did in my past and reaching forward to what's up ahead. That's Philippians. The only reason you need to look back at your past is to learn more about yourself. The person who loves instruction loves knowledge, but the one who hates to be corrected is stupid. I didn't say that. Proverbs said that. That's Proverbs. But it sounds harsh, but that's the truth, because if it says the person who loves instructions loves knowledge. If you come to this particular facility and the individuals is giving you the instructions, right? If you love the instructions, you love knowledge. But if you hate to be corrected, it's stupid. I'm trying to tell you about this level, or your counselors or whoever y'all have here are telling you, giving you the instructions, and then you just like, they don't know what they're talking about. That's not a good place to be. Everybody needs somebody to give them the instructions. A person who loves instructions loves knowledge. If they're giving you the instructions, remember I told y'all about that program when they told me it was a stupid rule?
Yeah.
I said, man, it's the stupidest rule. And they said, they was talking to each other like, oh, he didn't even know. We know it's stupid. Like they put the stupid rule into place to see can you follow the stupid rule. And I couldn't follow it for nothing.
So
they said, it was so stupid. And what blew my mind was they told me, we know. When we wrote it up, we said, let's put like 3-4 stupid rules and see how many they keep breaking. They said, because the number one rule in the field of addiction is don't pick up. It's the number one rule. But we keep breaking it. And they says, every time you break that rule, Michael, that's what you're doing. And I said, man, y'all too smart. That is pretty good. I like that. It made sense to me because they were showing me that I kept picking up because I kept breaking the rule. My ability to follow the rule of not picking up. Everybody say, don't pick up.
Don't pick up.
Y'all all heard that, right?
Yeah.
We all heard it, but we all keep breaking that stupid rule. It's impossible for us to relapse if we never, ever pick it up.
They gonna just jump in.
It won't just, she's right. It won't just see you and say, jump in you. It needs us to participate. It needs us to participate. But remember, everything God put in us, we have the ability. I give you, behold, I give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. You got it here. Just learn how to use the keys. They all inside you.
I feel this like, different things that we do, and we do it to like ease pain, and it numbs us, and it kind of like makes us feel good. And that I didn't do drugs or alcohol, but I did other things that was shopping, fighting. That was my way of controlling situations. I felt I was pretty good at shopping. I was pretty good at fighting. So those were my things I reverted back to. But we do that to numb us from some pain or something that we don't want to feel. Can I tell you how good it feels to wake up in Christ? How good it feels to actually turn something over to Him, and I don't have to carry it anymore. There were some things that I carried for years from a little girl, carried it into adult, and that's a I'm talking about into recent years. And every Sue like so ugly.
That's beautiful.
It's the best feeling ever to know that no matter what happens, I ain't got to deal with that no more.
Cast your cares on me. He said, cast all your cares on me for I care for you.
The word past means what has existed or has happened at some earlier time or earlier point of a person's life, career, or anything. It happened before. It happened earlier. It's not happening right now.
Now, that's your past.
It's
Everybody
past.
has.
30 seconds ago has passed. You can't get them 30 seconds back. It's over. That's your past. You need to ask yourself, what is it in your past that you left? Because you can't bring your past to your present. If you go back there trying to get it, you can't bring it forward.
Who do you blame for your past? Those questions, again, this is all the time that you got when you have your own time. These questions that you can write on there, because sometimes we used to blame, we should blame people for our past. We could say, well, like my mom was struggling with alcohol, my dad was dealing with drugs. I can blame them forever, right? Mm-hmm. But I was the only one out of my siblings that was smoking crack and doing heroin, so I can't blame them too much.
Same parents.
We got these ladies sitting there, so if it was mommy and daddy fault, why we ain't doing it? So sooner or later it won't work. Because, so you got to find out who you blaming for your past. If you take it on yourself, then, you know what I mean, you can ask God to lift that off of you as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Even though you did what you did or we did what we did, God will lift us. You know what I mean? He'll lift that off of that. If it's a weight and it's holding you down, like you keep beating yourself up, or to repeat it, cast it on me because I care for you. Like
holding on to this because it was like my trophy. You don't know what you did to me. You don't know how I felt. You know what I mean? You don't know how that affected my life, what you did. And part of me felt like if I just let that go, I was letting them off scot-free.
Yeah.
So it kept me bound up. It kept me angry. It kept me fighting. It had me looking at 3 to 5 years in Superior Court. So you have to ask yourself, what is it that you're holding on to from your past? And maybe something you need to just let go.
Yeah.
You can't undo it. And the person or persons or things can't even change it because the past is done.
Yeah, so don't hold on to it, because I remember I get visions and stuff or dreams. And in the vision I was holding on to my past and God was pulling me that way. But he's pulling me and he's saying, hey, Mike, let it go. He pulled my past like this. He like, hey, just let go. And I'm like, man, I want to keep. I like that. I like doing it. He said, I'm trying to take you here, but you got to let go of the past. So sometimes all we got to do is just let it go and allow him to pull us into something better. Let's look at break you down. Right there. I wrote this. Yeah, it said, did your past break you down? Right here I wrote, this is my book. If your past life has not beat you, if your past life has not beat you down, it'll be easier for you to go back to it. If it haven't did its work in you, right? It was so bad. God bless you. It was so bad. Then you'll go back to it. You'll have it on the table like it wasn't that bad. So you got to get to that place where you realize it was bad. It was ugly. It was bad. And so when you get to that place, that's a great place to be. Did you notice the kids who looked up to you in your past? The reason why that question is there because everybody in your neighborhood knows you. And even the kids in the neighborhood, when they saw you, they always spoke to you. No matter what you was doing, it was somebody watching you. Mm-hmm. Everybody had somebody in their neighborhood watching them. Even if it's not just your children, somebody in your neighborhood watching you. So did you notice the kids who looked up to you in your past lifestyle? And the reason why that was in the book is because I had a guy that lived in my neighborhood when I was younger. I always looked up to him and his family. They just was well off. They always was nice to the neighborhood people, but he was, I always looked up to him. And then I remember one day when I was starting to use heroin, I happened to see him buy heroin. This guy, right? He was a fireman, and you know, his family was like mayors and all that type of stuff. And I seen him and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Yeah, some heroin, man." He wanted to be with us, and I looked up to him.
Wow.
And craziest thing ever, he overdosed from it and died. When I seen that he died, I told my wife, I used to look up to him, and I was mad at him because I didn't understand, why did you want to be with us? Well, I looked at us, we was like nobody's out here. They calling us names, and he wanted to be with us. He says, "Man, it seemed like y'all having fun." I was like, "Fun? This is not fun." But he wanted to be with us. I looked up to him. I said, "I always looked up to you. You know, I seen you." And eventually this guy, not too long ago, died. And I seen that. I said, wow. So you got to remember the next bullet. Can you leave your past behind? Can you leave your past behind?
Well, not even past, because it says it.
Can you leave it behind?
Can you leave it behind? Whatever it is. Can you leave it behind, or when you leave here, are you going to take it with you? When you go to jail, you take it with you. When you go see the drug man, you take it with you. When you're stealing, you take it with you. When you're lying, you take it with you. When you go to sleep, you take it with you. When you go to the next program, you take it with you. Well, everywhere you go, you take it.
Leave it behind.
Can you leave it behind? Only you can answer that question.
Don't get down on yourself and think that you're the only one with a past, because everybody has a past. This tells us that behaviors are the go to the drawing board. And I wrote that in there because I had this guy. He was a very educated person, and we was talking about how research shows how our past behaviors, future behaviors. That spiritual component, that part, because that only applies if it changes. You cannot change the past, but you can always choose a different direction and use your old one to push you ahead. And that's the title of my first book, Pushed Out the Crack House into God's House, How to Allow Your Past to Push You into Your Destiny. Your past, your old life, the old is available for me, it's available to you too. Because you can either allow your past to cripple you, hold you, keep you stuck, or you can allow it to push you.
You guys have any questions? We're good. We'd like you to talk back to us.
Have you ever taught at Pastor Russell's church?